Hello YouTube, I'm Dr. Ronald W. Satz, founder and chair of the International Society of Unified Science and president of TransPower Corporation, a commercial and custom software manufacturing and certified systems engineering company. We offer the largest selection of decision support software that you can find. Today I'm going to go over the reciprocal system theory of physics. We're going to do part 2 of the reciprocal system explanation of 10 unexplained mysteries of stars. We did 5 last time, so we'll do the remaining 5 today. I'm going to scroll down and get to number 5 here. These mysteries, by the way, come from listverse.com. So number 5. Number 5 mystery, the planet that should have been swallowed. WASP 18 is 330 light years away in the Phoenix constellation and about 25% more massive than our Sun. This is another entry where not the star itself, but what it orbits is the real mystery. In 2009, Cole Hellier of Keele University discovered that WASP 18 had a planet, dubbed WASP 18b. The planet is slightly bigger than Jupiter, but has about 10 times its mass. This is just below the mass that would make it a brown dwarf, which is a star that failed to initialize. What puzzles astrophysicists is that the planet orbits less than 2 million miles from its parent star. By comparison, Mercury is nearly 36 million miles from our Sun. WASP 18 is so close to its parent that it completes its orbit in less than 23 hours, and its surface temperature is around 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 2,200 degrees Celsius. Being so close, the planet should eventually fall into its Sun, yet it has survived already for about 680 million years. Given the mass of the star it orbits, this planet should have been consumed long ago. How a planet was able to form and remain in a location where planets were thought unable to exist is a question that continues to perplex astronomers. But it's not perplexing to advocates of the reciprocal system. This is just a question of Newtonian gravitational math, and it's not a mystery. The planet is moving fast enough around the Sun. It completes its orbit in less than 23 hours. So there's really no mystery here, even by conventional standards. And we'll get to planet formation in a little bit. Now let's go down to mystery number 4. The stardust that found its way home, since PSR, that means pulsar, B1257 plus 12 is a remnant of a supernova explosion. Scientists never expected to find planets anywhere near it, but they found an entire solar system. A total of 3 planets and 1 dwarf planet orbit this pulsar. Thinking they must be common, scientists began looking for other pulsars for planets. However, only one other pulsar was confirmed to have a single planet orbiting it, showing that they are indeed extremely rare. The process by which such planets are able to form is still not well understood. The most accepted theory is that the planets formed a little like our own from a planetary disk, that originally surrounded the star. However, any planet-making material and dust should have been thrown billions of miles out into space by the supernova explosion. How the gas and dust was able to return to the remaining pulsar, become tidally locked, and contain enough material for the formation of a whopping 4 planets remains a mystery. Okay, from the reciprocal system, planets are not formed from planetary disks, just moons. Planets are formed from the original supernova Type 2 explosion. They are a result of expansion in time, which is the inverse of expansion into space. Planets are failed white dwarfs or pulsars. So, normally, what happens with a supernova explosion, let's say Type 1, it's a white dwarf and a red giant. With Type 2, it's a pulsar. And the red giant material generally disperses away and doesn't reform. So planets are actually failed white dwarfs or pulsars, actually. So there's no mystery here from the reciprocal system. Now let's go to number 3. The disco star. VA38 Monocerotis is located in the constellation Monoceros, which is about 20,000 light years from Earth and was at one point considered one of the largest stars in the universe. In 2002, the brightness of the star shot up suddenly. It was thought to be a simple nova, which is what happens when the remaining core of a dead star, known as a white dwarf, accumulates too much hydrogen gas from a neighboring star. Well, that's nonsense, he says parenthetically. Causing a fantastic explosion, the star dimmed after a couple of weeks, as expected. Scientists put it in the record books as a nova. But less than a month later, the star burst into light again. Since the time period between explosions was too short to be caused as two separate novae, or novas, astronomers were puzzled and took a closer look. It was then they discovered their problem. There was no white dwarf. The star had simply erupted by itself, and it repeated the process of brightening and dimming several times over the next few months. During its brightest eruption, the star became 1,000,000 times brighter than the sun and one of the brightest lights in the sky. Typically, stars brighten slightly before their death, but measurements indicate that the star was only a few million years old. Haha, and that's nonsense, because in the reciprocal system, the largest stars are older than the younger stars. So, a mere toddler in star use, that's way off. Anyway, the author of this piece continues. When the Hubble telescope captured an image of the star after the eruptions, a large cloud of gas and debris was seen accelerating away from the star. One theory is that the stars had collided with something unseen, another star or planet, but scientists are still puzzled by this now decade-old mystery. Well, I say here, from the standpoint of the reciprocal system, astronomers have the stellar evolution sequence upside down. This star is not only a few million years old. It's probably a blue giant. It's very old. It could possibly be a Wolf-Rayet star. In essence, it's a variable star. In the reciprocal system, stellar energy generation is not due to hydrogen fusion or, light element fusion. It's due to heavy element fission. And usually what happens with the variable star is that one lower element, above iron will fission, and that will cause temperature and pressure and so on to expand, and the star will expand out, and that will cool the star, then it will come back. And then when that's happening, then the previous element, which had fission before, will begin to fission again. So there's a cycle there. It's simply a large, old variable star. Okay, number 2. Mystery number 2. The rogue planet. CFBD SIR 2149-0403 is classified as a brown dwarf. These have failed to initialize nuclear, and I laugh at that. No such thing as nuclear fusion in their cores. Because there's gravitational segregation, there's no hydrogen in the core, it's heavy elements in the core, obviously. And develop into real burning stars, the author says. While characterized as an AB Doradus star due to its size and mass, many others characterize it as a gas giant. This would make it a planet without a parent star, which has been theorized but only rarely observed. Only 4 possible candidates for the title of rogue planet are known to exist. The one in question being the closest to Earth at an estimated 130 light years. Without a large star to orbit, the motion of the planet is influenced by other stars in the AB Doradus star group. This doesn't mean that it travels through space in any sort of straight line, a common misconception about rogue planets. But just how a planet is able to go rogue remains a mystery. Now, from the standpoint of the reciprocal system, rogue planets may be created if their parent stars go supernova. But this brown dwarf could also be a star which has entered a zone of little mass and dust, and thus it ceased its energy production. This may be temporary. It's possible in an existing stellar system with planets that when the star goes supernovas, most of the planets would be destroyed, obviously, but in some cases they may be ejected out of that particular stellar system and become rogue. Okay, now the last one, number 1. The vanishing stardust. TYC 8241-2652 is located 450 light years away in the constellation Centaurs. It is believed to be around the same size as our Sun, but a mere child at 10 million years old, compared to our 4.5 billion year old star. From 1983 to 2008, astronomers searched a bright ring of dust around the star for possible planet formation, believing they were getting some insight into how our own solar system formed. But when the star was due for a checkup in early 2009, astronomers were astonished when they looked through their telescopes. They saw nothing but the star itself. The once visible glowing disk of dust was gone. It did not leave behind any planets or any signs as to where it had gone. It quite simply vanished. Scientists were baffled. When asked about it, astronomer Carl Mellis simply stated, quote, "We don't have a really satisfactory explanation to address what happened around this star." Well, this is really easy for the reciprocal system. Obviously, the dust has been pulled into the star, just as the reciprocal system says it would. Stars accrete mass. Of course, they lose some mass as material streams out of the star, but what we don't usually see is the mass going into the star. And so stars have a net gain of mass over their lifetime. Thus, they move up the main sequence, not down or staying put, as the conventional theorists say. They slowly gain mass over billions of years and eventually become blue giants. So, for more information on the reciprocal system theory, particularly in astrophysics and astronomy, please obtain Dewey B. Larson's astrophysical masterpiece, The Universe of Motion. Dewey B. Larson was my theoretical physics mentor from 1965 until his death in 1990. He's by far the most intelligent and most logical individual I have ever known. Study the reciprocal system and prove it for yourself. For the simplest possible treatment, see my work, The Unmysterious Universe, which you can find at Amazon.com or transpowercorp.com. For the most comprehensive work with thousands and thousands of equations for you scientists and engineers and professors out there, obtain my work, Existence and Interactions, a computational treatise of the reciprocal system, the true theory of everything. And if you want to apply the theory in practice for science and engineering work, get my database. It comes in 2 modules, the Reciprocal System Microcosmos module for matter properties, and the Reciprocal System Macrocosmos module for astronomy and astrophysics. All of these represent a monumental piece of work that I've done for the theoretical physics community, and you can obtain them from transpowercorp.com or Amazon.com. Also, see my theoretical physics blog site, reciprocalsystem.guru. Thanks for your attention.